you. Hope you are enjoying the little chill in the air.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Except for insufficient cash.
Insufficient cash. Wow. Thank God. Well, it is not as biting as what we experienced last year. You know, that one was excruciating. And that man is in the news today. Emefiele. The big story this morning across all the newspapers. And I'm taking this from the Punch. Emefiele operated 593 illegal US, UK, China accounts. CBN investigator. That's Obazi. Let me just take the body of that story. The former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Emefiele illegally lodged billions of naira in no fewer than 593 bank accounts in the United States, United Kingdom, and China, without the approval of the Apex Bank's Board of Directors and the CBN Investment Committee. The special investigator on the CBN and related entities, Jibobazi, found that the ex-CBN governor lodged £543,000, £482 in fixed deposits in UK banks alone without authorization. When contacted, counsel for Emefiele, Matthew Buka-San, asked one of our correspondents to send him a text message. He has yet to reply the messages as of the time of filing this report. Meanwhile, Obaze submitted his final report, tagged report of the special investigation on CBN and related entities, chargeable offenses to Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. And on and on and on, hundreds of millions of pounds and dollars and yen done by let me read this. In a letter dated 28 July cited by the Punch, President Bola Tinubu had named the former executive secretary of the Financial Reporting Council. Of course, we remember his role in the in the Financial Reporting Council there. And of course, we hear that attempts have been made at pinning the man down. You heard that report, my dear brother. Emefiele operated 593 illegal US, UK, China accounts without authorization of the board. How cool was it that powerful? And he has been charged only for breaching public procurement law.
Yes, one thing with the proof of Emefiele is just the one taking the heat. There are so many people involved. Some of them are still in the corridor of power. Some of them are high-profile persons in the last administration. And of course, the more revelation that is being made, the more people will be indicted. Yes, of a truth, the account may be linked to him. But I want to say it publicly and without any form of reservation that those accounts will be held in trust by him for some other high-profile individuals.
The accounts were actually opened in the name of the central bank, but they were unauthorized as required by law.
Of course, it's just meant for them to do the shady deals, and that would begin to answer the questions that the former CBN governor, that's former Emir Lamido, has been asking. Where
are the dollars?
So those are where the dollars are. At least it's been reviewed now because it builds the imagination of people. At least for the past 6 months or thereabouts, we've not been remitting and we've not been paying subsidy. And of course, dollar is still scarce. Where are the dollars?
That's a big question. Please permit me to read. A portion of the Nation. It says after this one says the headline here says Emefiele, that's from the Nation. Emefiele, ex-minister, 14 others indicted in CBN probe. And the body of the story goes on to say after a 5-month probe, Emefiele, the minister, and 14 others who have been implicated in over 26.6 trillion naira fraud have been recommended for trial. 26.6 trillion naira fraud.
And our budget for 2024 is just 27. So that means some people have consumed what we would have as a whole budget for the whole year.
How on earth do they go around doing that and nothing happens?
It's because they believe they are safe, and all those who would have blown the whistle are somehow involved in the act, and they will not expose themselves. And that's why I keep saying, and I said it last week, I remember saying it vividly, that the president needs to be brutal about the fight against corruption. Until he does that, this kind of act will not stop. And there's no way. People have been recommending the Chinese approach. That is the only way forward. When you allow them to be going
what is the Chinese approach? The final solution?
The final solution, instant death. Look, when you don't do things like that, and even I remember the Professor Emeritus, OBC, did recommend more than 10 years ago that anybody that stole to a tune of billions should be executed by firing squads, because he knew there are some criminal elements that shouldn't be walking our street. But these ones will walk they will not only walk our street, they will do it with pomposity
and so much disdain for the people.
They will do it with oppressive mindset. Because they know nothing would happen. Until they begin to see something would happen, that fear will not be in their spines to shy away from acts like that. And it's not peculiar to the politicians. If you go into the military, you will see you will always run away. So that's the thing. We have that huge problem with corruption, and until we solve that problem, if you cannot solve it in a whole, at least we reduce it to a bearable minimum, we cannot move forward as a nation. That is just the truth. You begin to ask ourselves the question, are we really serious as a nation? And that's why I said this president needs to be brutal. You need to touch the untouchables. And like you said last week, he doesn't need to just touch, he has to crush them.
Now the big question.
People that, okay.
Does he have? The report was submitted to him December 20. Does he have the political will, the guts to go ahead and touch and probably crush them?
In terms of the guts, he has. Political will, there's a question mark. And why is there a question mark? Because in the past, he too has perpetrated. And there's something he too is doing. For instance, people went to the Bureau for, what is it called now? Code of Conduct Bureau.
Yep.
They couldn't find his declaration of asset there. As a president, it is a constitutional requirement to hold public office. You must fill a form and drop there. And it must be accessible to people. Nigerians do not know how much their president is worth before taking office. But there are people within, this set of people that we are talking about, knows how much it's worth. And they have this own secret too. Look at the scenario that played out during the certificate saga, whether he attended or identity theft and the rest of them. The man that threw that thing up was able to throw it up because he have access to certain information that Nigerians do not have about the president. And he decided to just play politics with that.
So
there are other secrets of the president that those set of people will have. And you who will come to equity must come with clean hands.
Therefore, the president himself is vulnerable.
Must not throw stones. So that is the problem where I see that his political will may be affected in a way. And if that is affected, he may not really want to go as brutal as many people like me will expect. He would rather go political and do media trial just to get as much as he could get out of the money from them. That is where I think he's interested in. He just wants to get the money so that he will have something to run his own administration.
Yeah, when he gets the money, he disables them somehow. He disables them. If a man steals 100 billion and you get 95 billion from him, you disable him.
That 5 billion is not small money. Somebody made an analysis that a billion naira, if you are spending, I think 50,000 naira in a day, you will spend $1 billion for more than 25 years.
That is those who spend 50,000. There are people who spend millions in a day here.
So no, just put it like that.
There's a particular bottle of crystal champagne must be around 300,000 naira now. It's just about a liter.
That will not be drank every day. Maybe you traditionally when they want to just show display their usual opulence. That's why they do stuff like that. But even billionaires, there are days that they will not spend up to 20,000 throughout the week, and there are days that they will spend millions. So it always varies. But by just giving an analysis of, okay, consistently 50,000 every day, you will spend that money for more than 25 years. Now multiply that by 5. That means 125 years is what you need to spend.
So what we expect now?
It is still much. It is still much. That is where I'm going. That even if you reduce it to 5 billion, it is still more than at least you have saved the country, some financial disaster by getting the money from there. That's what it seems to. But you still need to get some scapegoat so that those ones will send fear into the spines of others with similar tendencies.
Yes. Okay. Well, our listeners and viewers, wherever you may be this morning, let me give you. Oh, wow. Mr. Badajoku, let me take this call, please. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is calling from Oyo.
Thank you for joining us. How is Oyo this morning?
Everywhere is cool.
Yeah. Your contribution, please. We are good, thank you. Your contribution.
Sir?
Your contribution, go ahead.
Yes, sir. This morning, there's something I want to say that's not about what you've read this morning or what you are talking about. I just want to call the attention of the Oyo State government to something. And it's about, I was at Ibadan yesterday.
Okay.
And I was really pressed while I was at Ojo.
Okay.
And you won't believe it. I had to, because I was coming back to Oyo. So I had.
Wow, we lost that call. Mr. Badajoku, did you hear the caller?
I didn't. I was actually telling you that I wasn't hearing the call.
Yeah, he was talking about we lost him. I hope you call back. He said he was talking about the fact that he lives in Oyo. He was in Ibadan yesterday, and then he said he was pressed. But apparently he was trying to talk about. But I'm sure we'll call back. Kudus will call back. The unavailability of. It's okay. All right. He's back. Hello, Kudus.
Oh, sorry, that was it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I just had to enter the vehicle back to Oyo.
Okay.
And when I got to Oyo, I had to rush straight to my house before I was able to release myself. So what I'm trying to say is, when you look around, if we are saying we should keep Oyo State clean, there's no way this town will be clean, because some things are natural. It's natural for you to want to urinate. It's natural for you to want to go to the toilet. So if we don't put things in place, how do you think we can manage something like that? Okay, I don't like entering corners, even here in Oyo Town, because if you do, you just discover that everywhere will be smell. Because people will have to urinate. They have to do it. But if there are things in place like public toilets in place, I know we can be saying that people will mismanage it, but if we put things in place for us to be using all this, even we can be paying for it.
Oh yes, I want to call your attention to the fact that there's a huge car park, or rather terminal. Yes, terminal in Ojo there. I don't know whether yes, there's a huge terminal there. That one is completed. The one in Challenge is completed. It is the one. There are two in Iworo that are not completed yet. And I know that they have restrooms there. You pay, and they are very, very, very well maintained. I don't know whether you are around. You didn't notice that terminal?
No, I saw the terminal. I went to the terminal.
Yes, they have restrooms there. They have about nothing less than 5 or so.
You see, that's another problem. If we don't know. Me, for instance, seriously, I didn't know. So things like that, I think there should be a way people will know. But if you come down to Oyo Town, there's nothing like that. Even all the public markets in Oyo, there is no place where you can do something like that. So people will have to go anyway, maybe a corner, and because it's natural, you have to do these things. So I think I should call the attention of the
very, very important. So very, very important. You're talking about health, our health, and our health is very, very important. There should be provision. You see, those who.
So have a nice day.
You too, brother. You too. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Badajoku Adesunwo. Hello, Mr. Okay, the man said he wanted to ease himself. He was pressed, and there was no provision. Oh, there was no provision of any restroom. But I called his attention to the fact that there is a bus terminal there in which restrooms are available. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning. This is Taiwo Ibrahim on the line.
Taiwo Ibrahim, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Your contribution.
Back, just to contribute to what Kuji is trying to explain.
Yes, sir.
Not only the park.
Okay, sir.
If you go to Lagos, wherever you want to enter, they make provision. Shit is a serious business. That's what they are. It's a serious business. So when you use yourself, you can't just use yourself in a public.
Open defecation is still a big problem here in Nigeria.
Yes, we overtake India in 2019. India is the number one. Nigeria is the number one in the world now. Open defecation.
We are number one in a bad thing. That's
so
terrible.
In everywhere, not only the back.
That's terrible.
Then you make provision in everywhere. You want to use yourself, not just to enter one corner.
I hope the town planners, the town enforcement, is not just planning, the enforcement. That's the big problem. That is a big problem. Enforcement. Thank you for your contribution. Do have a fruitful day. Mr. Badejoko.
Yes.
You had the second caller now too. He talked about, he did an addition and he said open defecation is also a part of the problem.
Yeah, it is, because when you look at how many shops that we have there, how many of them are with convenience?
No, the bus terminal.
We are now street trading to be the order of the day, and there's no way these street traders will not ease themselves. Some of them have children who would be with them and would want to defecate. They do it right there beside them, and when they are done, they just fling it somewhere. So these are things that are problems that the government needs to do something about it through the Ministry of Environment. So, but the bus terminals, of course, I am sure they have conveniences.
Exactly, I know that because I've used it.
People too should ask questions, especially enlightened ones like us. When you are stranded in a place, you move. There are ways you can ease yourself. There was a day I was at Mokola Roundabout with a colleague of mine, and she was so pressed. I said, why are you disturbing yourself? Enter this, there's a mobile phone shop close by. They will definitely have a toilet. Just go in there, tell them you want to use their convenience. If you cannot go to the bank. That was the day I was pressed at the same roundabout. I went to the Wema Bank to go and ease myself. So people should think out of the box.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we may not have these things right, but there are complex, there are offices, banks that they will gladly allow you to use their
fast food joints.
Yes, they all have.
Yeah.
You just walk in.
Petrol stations.
To them, please, can I use your restroom?
They will understand. They will understand.
The enlightened people are the ones that are usually cautious of where we eat ourselves, where we urinate, and where we defecate. These other people don't care. You understand? But what they also do affects us, because when they do it all over the place and it pollutes the air, we also bring in that polluted air.
Of course.
So that's where government comes in. But in terms of like the first caller, I'm referring to the first caller, that subsequently he may find himself in similar situation. He should just look around and ask questions.
Yes, and ask questions. Yes, if you want to join the conversation this morning on Harmony Liners, you can reach us on 0704 7000 943. I take that once more, 0704 7000 943. And the other studio number you can reach us on is 090. Okay, that one is engaged. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name, sir?
My name is Ibrahim. I'm calling from Roundabout.
From Roundabout. Okay. Your contribution, please.
I just come to this program. It's been very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And your the analyst in the house is a very successful person, which I'm actually trying to learn from.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate your time, the time that you spend with us, and your views too. God bless you. Baraka Jumma to you. Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Badejoko, that's your caller appreciating the station and your incisive analysis too.
Appreciation to the caller too.
Thank you. Yes.
have to contribute to our process.
Thank you. Let us now go to another major talking point for today. The story is in virtually all the newspapers. Government petrol production begins next week in Port Harcourt refinery. And let me just take a part of that story. The federal government yesterday reassured Nigerians that the production of petrol and liquefied natural gas will resume at the Port Harcourt refinery after Christmas break. Let me take this call, please. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. I think there is a problem with this call. Okay, let me continue with that story. Okay, we'll resume at the Port Harcourt refinery after Christmas break. It said the optimism is based on the mechanical completion and flare startup of phase 1 of the 210,000 barrels per day refinery by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC. So they have actually started, the mechanical completion and flare startup. There is another newspaper report that says 77.4%. So, and it completes the same. The test run of the facility is said to be ongoing. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Henikin Lukobiri, group, okay, on and on like that. We have had so many promises, Mr. Balajoko. Can we say this promise is for real?
We can say it's for real because we are getting benefit of our doubt. And like I predicted when you asked the question in our previous edition that why is Dangote focusing on diesel and aviation oil?
Yes.
I think I remember saying that perhaps Port Harcourt is going to focus on petrol so that there will be a kind of balance within the market, since those are the only refineries that we have. That is coming to pass now and is a welcome development. But where I still have issues is the modular refineries that are supposed to compete with this standardized refineries. If licensed the modular refineries, some of them have been commissioned, some are even operating. But there is this question of having access to crude. And if you don't give them quota, you are encouraging them to begin to get it through illegal means. And these are people that would steal the oil, the crude oil, through the pipeline. You remember the other day, was it 2 weeks ago, that the NNPC is saying that there are close to 1,000 what is it called?
Outlets. Illegal.
Outlets, illegal oil pipeline. And that they have the data. And I say, okay, if you have the data, what have you done about the data that you have? How come you've not been able to arrest anybody? But the thing is, it was even in that report that the Navy was now alleged to have been supervising the oil theft. But when Asari said it the other time, people criticizing that he doesn't know what he's saying. But some of us said, no, I support what Asari is saying. If in that environment is familiar with the terrain, he knows what he's talking about. Now they are confirming it. So, but that is by the way. Port Harcourt coming up is a welcome development. It means the year 2024 will be a very good year business-wise. That means,
how do you mean? How will that impact business and our lives? How will it?
If the price of diesel comes down.
To like how much by your expectations and estimation?
If it comes to 500, it's still it's a welcome development. Because it's not going to come down to the level that people may be imagining. Healthy competition in the future is what to guarantee that. But at the startup, those who have put up this refinery want to recoup their investment, and they will put a price that will facilitate the quick return on investment. So that's why I'm predicting 500. Now, if a product that usually hits 1,000 naira to a liter is stabilized at 500 for a start, it's going to be a welcome development for those who use diesel. And most of our industries are being powered by diesel. As I said, and don't forget the Siemens arrangement is still ongoing and is nearing completion.
The Siemens arrangement for power.
Cost of energy is coming down. That means cost of production is coming down. And when cost of production comes down, it will be easier for government to regulate the prices of commodities, because they will tell them, I'm giving you incentive on this. This has come down to this level. Why would you be selling at this price? And don't forget, the president mentioned, not just mentioned, it was documented, it's Renew Hope document, the campaign manifesto. It stated clearly there that there will be a commodity board. And
yes, I remember
those
commodity boards. Babangida that scrapped the commodity boards, actually.
Yeah. He said there will be a commodity board. I understand the reason why nothing is being said about it, because we don't have the need for it yet. We need to improve on agriculture. We need to improve in the area of cost of production. We need to encourage manufacturing and boost the industry. When that happens, then the need for the commodity board will arise. As they be producing in mass, it will be stored in their warehouses of the commodity board, and that will give us a stable price around the clock, and it will cut down exploitation. But that's the future. But the thing is, we are making progress. That is where I'm going. That we are making steady progress towards a better Nigeria, if I may use that word that one of the former presidential candidates used. So that is the thing. And you have government working. But all this hardship is what Nigerians are not used to.
Are you sure Nigerians are not used to hardship already? That's why they call us the resilient people.
We endure it when it happens. But when it becomes persistent. I remember telling you when the other platform during the what is it called? The peak of the electioneering campaign, I said the new president will not enjoy any honeymoon. So whatever reaction
he did not enjoy one moment of honeymoon. Not even 1 minute.
So, and that's what you're saying in terms of criticism. That is what has been happening. No honeymoon for the president, and it's good. Why?
Keep
if
them
he had
on
enjoyed
their toes.
honeymoon, Port Harcourt will not be coming up as we speak. It would have been another audio promise that will not manifest. But thank God it has come up. By January, we have 2 refineries functioning, and importation will begin to reduce. And by the time the 2 refineries come to full operation,
the 2 Port Harcourt,
250,000 barrels. That's an upgrade. Port Harcourt was around 75,000.
This is 210,000. 210.
210 from 75.
Yeah.
That is a real expansion of capacity. And before the flaring came up, the mechanical completion, they fixed the electricity, the grid within the complex had been commissioned. And that was the first thing that they did, because with this one working, then anytime the refinery is coming up, there will not be an issue. And they have 2 of it, and both of them are completed. As I said, yes, we should give credit to Buhari administration for at least not diverting the money, because if the money had been diverted, Tinubu cannot put any pressure on the contractors that are handling the project.
Yes, so after all, hope might be renewed for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Yes, because that is the sign that we are getting.
Okay.
But at the same time, we must not keep quiet on the fact that the presidency needs to be brutal in the fight against corruption. People have very
Are you sure his own
government.
hands too are not tied and soiled, as it were?
I have mentioned that the fact that he has not declared his status is one of them. So
yes.
let's not go
But
there.
definitely he will wield that report to recover money, if nothing else, and continue to use it to intimidate them.
And he seems to be moving. That is his agenda, and he seems to be achieving his aim along that line.
And at least he will use that as a weapon to intimidate those who are involved. So stay there, keep quiet, or else. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Let's move on to a few more talking points here. Of course, the Minister of Solid Minerals, and the Minister of Transport told Nigerians that Utah period effective yesterday, free train rides, and of course, those who are going to be traveling by luxury buses and all of that, you're going to be getting 50%. Train is free. And this story here says passengers overwhelm free interstate Utah train service. And then the other story says people are stranded at those bus stations. I look at the list that was rolled out. It seems to me that it is mostly beneficial to the people heading to the south, and southeast, and a few northern routes. Southwest, yes, southwest, the Lagos-Ibadan train, and then the Abuja-Kaduna. What I find interesting is the Warri-Itakpe line, is it actually moving passengers? Are people using that train?
It is not a commercial route.
It was not designed to be commercial.
It wasn't. But for those who want to take shortcuts from Abuja, that's a route for them. But the thing is, it is a welcome development. Now, this is the real palliative. I remember posting on my ex handle when I saw the news that, well, this is laudable, but I expect something to be done to the bag of rice. So that those of us who will not be traveling, so that those of us who will not be traveling can also enjoy Christmas.
But you see, my challenge with that is, how will they do it? Logistics. It will not get to the people. Things that were meant for people, IDPs, internally displaced people, found its way to Nigerian market.
It is very easy to do. How did they do this transport? It is very easy. I keep saying it that the middlemen that fix the price, they are visible. They are not ghosts. Those are the people to target. Give them the money. They will fix. They will just discover that suddenly the bag of rice, that the price has crashed by half. You can imagine bag of rice being sold for 25,000 at this Christmas. People will celebrate. Everybody will be shouting Tinubu everywhere because people are hungry. And it is the hunger that is leading to the hunger that we find out there. And that's why
Murtala Mohammed did it, and he was in office for just 6 months.
8 months, yeah, and the people, that 8 months was like 8 years.
It was actually 6 months. February, he got into office July, okay, yes. And then February, okay, yes, about 8 months. About 8 months. He did it.
You understand? And within that 8 months, he was, he overshadowed the 9-year rule of Sugowan. People no longer talk that somebody has ruled for 9 years. The same people that were shouting, go on with one Nigeria, they forgot about him. So that is what, when you touch the life of people directly, you understand? It is going to work. There are ways you do this thing.
Let us now touch, as we wrap up this morning, in a minute or two. 11 justices designate of the Supreme Court were cleared yesterday by the Senate, and they will be sworn in next week. How will this impact the delivery of, justice in Nigeria?
First of all, it will reduce the pressure on the 10 justices that we have. Now we can have about 4 cases running simultaneously because the panel is should be between 5 and 7. So that means you can have at least between 3 to 4 cases panels being simultaneously. You understand? That would make them to quickly dispense the cases at hand and reduce the pressure on those that have been working tirelessly. But the thing is, there should be a real succession plan. You don't have to wait till they reduce to a ridiculous number again before you appoint. Be appointing as they are exiting. As one is retiring, or maybe through death or incapacitation, replace the person immediately. And let there be that succession plan for the Supreme Court justices. That will save us a lot of stress and embarrassment that we often put ourselves through.
And beyond the Supreme Court, what about the appeal court? And isn't there a need for an overhaul of our judicial system? Everything, land cases going to the Supreme Court. A land case in Ibadan will go to the Supreme Court. The case will go to the Supreme Court. Even marriage issues, divorce. I've seen divorce cases go to the Supreme Court. That is ridiculous. Shouldn't it just be constitutional matters that go to the Supreme Court?
It should be. But, along the line, our politicians, in an attempt to always tweak the law to their own side, would add 1 or 2 things to it to justify what they wanted to do. And that's how we have all these cases qualifying to be in the Supreme Court. Remember when we started this political dispensation in 1999? The final appeal for the governorship election tribunal is the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
But somehow, because some people felt the appeal court has been compromised and so on, they push it to Supreme Court. Now, we have 36 governorship cases coming to the Supreme Court. 36. And there's a clause there, they must dispense, there's a particular duration that they try, what is it called now? The trial must not exceed. So that puts pressure on those who are handling the cases. But if you take that, or maybe restore it back to the Court of Appeal that has branches all over the Federation, and they will just sit in that respective branches and, of course, forget about it. But now look at all that is coming to the Supreme Court. And that is, I'm sure, senators and National Assembly will also be pushing that their own case also be getting to Supreme Court. Yes, if the government had gotten away with it, they will, and these are the lawmakers that we're talking about. They can, who knows whether it's in the pipeline as we speak. So these are things, but we need an overhauling. We can also decentralize the Supreme Court. For instance, in the United States, all the 50 states have their respective Supreme Court, and there's the one that is central. So these are things that we should also look into.
Just like the Colorado.
The Supreme Court in Colorado was the one that barred Trump from contesting office. So these are things we can also emulate. And I said we copied the US system, but we did not paste it properly.
Well, Mr. Badajo Kwadesumbo, I really appreciate your incisive and insightful interventions this Friday morning on our talking point. The major the issue of Emefiele will be watching what happens regarding that. I do wish you a most enjoyable Easter celebration. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Amen. I wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
By next Friday, we would have done.
Yes, we will be looking forward to New Year. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Yes, Armon Headliners has been the show this morning. And of course, the next show will be Baraka Juma. And I say Baraka Juma to our Muslim faithful. My name is Ayodeji Ajishogwe, wishing you a splendid weekend. God bless you all. God bless our union.